Namaskar. Welcome to Prakash on Basics. We are talking on the Nachiket Yam dialogue. Let's reanalyze what we talked of last time. As I told you, this is a samvad, a dialogue between a guru and acharya, a yamacharya and a student, Nachiket, trying to gain vital knowledge from him. Uh, Let us analyze this story. The story itself and the dialogue and the areas it covers is something that I talked of last time. So you are aware of it. Let us look at its higher level. Vajashravas is the son of Vajasravas. That's very typical. Uh, the father's name modified suitably becomes the son's name is a pattern that is Aditi becomes Aditya and so forth. Uh, so that's a common practice. This Vajasravas had gained fame and dharma merit, punya as it is known, by donating food, annadan, which is among the one of the highest things that can be donated. It was quite natural that Vajasravas, his son, wanted to outdo his father. So he went into Sarvamed, that is giving away everything that is dear to you. But this is a Kamya Yajna, a yajna with some goal or desire. So he is still attached to expectation. It's not nishkam karma, act without desires or goals. And then what did he give away? That we discussed last time. But what do we give away? Think. Uh, that's usually what we are no longer in use of. Old, discarded, worn out, once beyond their prime. And whom do we give them to? Many a times to servants, to watchmen, to donation drives. And then we feel proud that we have donated something. Vajishravas possibly and probably did that to some extent. And Nachiket, his son, saw through it. The effect is one or two questions and answers. Probably, I feel Vajishravas must have made the genuine excuse that I'm keeping the good cows for you because you are dearer to me. And that is why Nachiket probably asked him, then whom are you going to give me away to? Because I am the dearer one to you. And the fact that Vajishravas got angry means he has no control on anger. And why did he give away to Yam? Because then there is no chance of return, no chance of further embarrassment by the son in front of everybody else. The logical excuse, as I said, that I am keeping good for you. And for me, that's not my desire, it's for you. So the concept of Sarvamed seems to have been lost to the father. Now let's look at the next step. Yamalok. 3 days, no food, waiting. And the term used is atithi. A tithi. A tithi means one who has come without announcement. And the concept in Hinduism is atithi devo bhava. Atithi is God Himself. I remember it's very common practice that if somebody steps in when you don't expect, whatever is the state, you tend to help him out or talk to him. I remember in my lab um at noon time, when the lab was usually just hitched off, if I walked in and all the peons and others who were having their lunch from their tiffin boxes there would smile, and the first thing they would say is, "Sir, please come and join us, have a bite with us." So Atithi is irrespective of who it is. He is always supposed to be dear to you. And now this was Yamadharma as he is called. So he would definitely realize the importance of an Atithi. And so he was definitely very sad that an Atithi had come and he was not there to greet him. But the first thing that the Yam said to him was, "Go back. Your time is not up. Return." See, just because he's there and he's got someone there, he's not going to retain him. He's a very just person. His job is to ensure that death occurs only. Going to Yamlok is going with death. So that is only when you are in due time. So Yam too can't break his own rules. He also said, "You waited, that's my mistake. So you need a compensation." And the compensation was in terms of three boons. Before that, we must understand who Yam is. Yam is Vaivaswat, the son of the sun god. He is also called Yamadharma, who keeps everyone on the path of dharma, ideal behavior. Religion is a too small a word for dharma. There is another word Yam used in yoga, that is self control. We talked of it sometime: ahimsa, satya, asteya, aparigraha, brahmacharya, and so forth. So that's also nothing but self control. And Yam is the one who controls. Yam is said to be karma phaladata, giver of fruits of your actions, fully aware of what is right and what is wrong. He is an adhikara purush, a dev, a god with authority. Please realize that in Hinduism there are no devils. Otherwise, think, why would Kunti have invoked Yamadharma as the first when she wanted the Pandavas to be born? So he represents righteousness in true sense. He is called Yamacharya. That's Yam plus Acharya. Acharya means the highly learned, the Guru, the topmost one. And in Upanishads, ignorance itself is death. So the one who removes ignorance must be a Guru or an Acharya. So Yam is an Acharya. So it is quite likely that Nachiket went to his other Guru, the master who would remove all his doubts and clear them up for him. Now let's look at what Nachiket asked for. First, his father's acceptance. Whenever you have a problem, any problem, the first thing is to get an immediate solution to the problem at hand. And that was his problem at hand. Suppose I am extremely troubled by something like a kidney stone, and I walk into my doctor friend's, Dr. Vinod Kelkar's hall, meet him, tell him I have a great pain. Uh, what I would expect is he would give me an immediate medicine to relieve my pain immediately. Not tell me that you change your diet and you modify your food and say in 2 months your kidney stone will disappear. No, my problem is today. I need a solution today. So his immediate problem, first problem, was his father's anger. That's what he took care of, as we all do. And the second problem that he raised was not for himself. It was for others. It is related to Shreyas, the term that I'm going to talk of sometime. It is associated with Paramarth, the benefit of others. So how can people go to Swarga is what he asked. And through yajna, through fire, through the prayers of fire, and this is the Agni Rahasya. This Agni Rahasya issue can also be looked on at a different angle. Yam is said to have given Nachiket three different fire knowledges. And these represent the three transitions between the four ashrams, the Brahmacharya ashram to the Grihastha ashram. That's the first transition. Grihastha to Vanaprastha, Vanaprastha to Sannyas. And these are the transitions. And at each transition, you have to move ahead, burn off whatever is the past, and go to the next. Burn the bridges, go to the next step. That is the Agni, that is the Yajna, that is to be cleared and passed to the next step. Uh, there is one more way this has been talked of. Each of these is a responsibility passed on to you. This is a runa on you. The first is the runa of your mother having given you birth. When you enter Grihasthashram and have your family, you are continuing the progeny and the name of not only your parents but your guru and others. And so naturally, this is a runa to your father. So it is a Pitru runa. And the third is the transition from Vanaprasthashram to Sannyas, where you are supposed to study and understand the Upanishads. And that's a runa for your guru. So it is a runa for him. So these are the three runas that you have to get away with. And it is this transition into the pure knowledge that would tell you of what really you desire. So this is the three forms of Agnis, which naturally, because Yam was very happy with his questioning, uh, gave him gave them the name as Nachiketa Agni. And then the third boon, what after death? Mrutyurahas. First, uh, as I told you, Yam tried to tempt him with so many things to ensure that his desire for knowledge was the main issue. And the answer of Nachiket itself is very clear. He says all material gains are never permanent. Only true knowledge is permanent. Health, wealth, etc. will end with my death. What matters is what is after death. And that is the knowledge that I want. So Yam explained Shreyas and prayers first, which I am going to come to later on sometime, and Atma and Brahma in a variety of ways that we talked of last time. And then, as I told you, we come to what must be actually done to go from the Atma stage to the Brahma stage. And that, as I told you, is in the 48th shlok of the Mundaka Upanishad. And it talks of the 7 steps or the 7 sopans or the 7 thresholds which will lead you to achieving the necessary knowledge. This then is the higher level. And what are these 7 steps? The first one is very straightforward. Follow the path of Satya. Satya is truth. Always be truthful in speech, in your mind, and in your actions. This is like a three-legged stool. It will be stable only if all three are valid. In India, Whenever a promise is also taken, it is said to be that I speak the truth by kaya, vacha, and man, which are the three legs, the three ones that I mentioned in my thoughts, in my actions, in my deeds. Uh, don't we expect this out of our spouses also? That they be truthful not only in their words, but in their minds also, and of course in their actions. Now, there is one more aspect related to Satya, that is the truth, which we must think of. Once you follow the path of truth, there is no fear because there is no memory problem associated. I don't have to remember what lies I told last time. There is no fear left. Once you have spoken the truth, it is always going to be the same. It is said to be Trikal Abadhit. That means in past, present, and future. Truth would always remain the truth. And that is why following the path of truth is the first step. The second, he says, is do tapa or penance. Penance is the word that is used for it, but it doesn't fully define what the word tap means. Tap is many times misunderstood. Tap involves concentration. Tap involves meditation. Tap involves contemplation. Move towards the objective that you have in mind happily, willingly, in spite of all the hurdles and difficulties that are there in the path. That's what it means. You must be undeterred, untiring in your efforts to achieve what you want. That is tap. Tap is not just exerting yourself excessively in atrocious physical torment. You must have heard of people talking of the tap, standing on one leg or raising their one leg up to the height of their head and meditating for years together, as it is shown in some pictures. That's not true. There were people in past who tried that. Ajit Keshakambali was one of them. We'll talk of him sometime later. Even Buddha initially tried this extreme form of tap when he was warned by someone that if your body perishes, what is the point of you taking all these efforts? And then Buddha shifted to more logical approach to meditation and contemplation. We'll come to that also sometime. But it's not freelance, enjoying your life as it is. Tap means you must put a constraint on yourself. There must be a tension, and attention becomes essential to achieve results. Think of a sitar. You can't just have a wire of sitar and expect it to be as melodious. It has to be put under tension. Why sitar? Guitar too. And if you have different tensions, only then are you going to get different musical notes. So according to situation, you must apply suitable tensions even to your own body to achieve whatever you want, whatever your desires are, whatever efforts is required. So, tapa becomes the second. The third step is samyak jnana, complete knowledge, suitable, adequate, and unambiguous. It should lead to no confusion. It should give you exactly what you want. And that is the prime aspect. Interpretation between the Jiva, Prakriti, and Ishwar is one of the major aspects of knowledge. And all three of them are difficult to understand. So your knowledge has to be perfect. You have to understand who the individual is. You have to understand what the nature around you is. And you must know if you are linked to God or Brahma and what their interrelation is. Today we have a simplified word for it. That's symbiosis. That practically boils down to the same thing. So getting a total knowledge of it would make our life better. The objective views of this knowledge will benefit all of us. So it should be selfless, nishkam, and not for personal gains. at the expense of others. So that's what the nature of this knowledge must be. It's more like nuclear energy. You can't have half knowledge of nuclear energy. It will result into a blast. It must be complete. It must be adequate. Exactly understanding how the system works. It could be related to radioactivity, so you must know on radioactivity. You must know how it is to be utilized, whether it is harmful to someone or not, and the results. Realize what happened to Marie Curie. She did a lot of research, but the final outcome was harm to herself too. But that is a sacrifice that she did for humanity at large. Now, the fourth step. It is known as Brahmacharya Nitya. The word Brahmacharya is not celibacy, as many a times it is misinterpreted. Uh, its true core is Dhatu Raksha at young age. There are said to be Sapta Dhatus. It is important during your growth, during your early anabolism, that is the growth period of your body. The seven vitals of the body need to be conserved, protected, and developed during this period. The blood, the rasa, the secretions of your body, mas, that is the flesh, majja, that is the nerves, med, that is the fat, asti, that is the bones, and sperm, the wraith. So these are the seven that must be protected. Realize that the importance of this was realized by those people 4,000 years ago at that time. The second issue with brahmacharya, chara means behave, and brahma we know. So try to emulate the qualities of brahma in your brahmacharya ashram. Become, live a life for others, nishkam, without expectations, without personal gains in mind. Nirvikalpa, then let there be no doubts. Be firm in whatever you do. Gunatita, don't get bogged down by bondages and desires. If you have all this, then you are naturally closer to the Brahma as it is. The fifth step is known as Antah Sharire. Turn your senses inwards, introspect, do self analysis. Turn your senses inwards and coordinate what is inside with the exterior world. Understand yourself first to coordinate. Establish a balance between the two of them, in and out. Excuse me. For this, you must have controlled diet, controlled sleep, and controlled efforts or toil. It is known as Samyak Ahar, Samyak Nidra, and Samyak Shram. So if you do these, naturally your behavior is going to result into the best. The sixth step is something that may or may not be achieved by many. It is known as Jyotirmay Shubhra. In meditation, when you are in a state of very high concentration towards either an idol or in terms of words like Om or anything else, and you are in a trance, it is believed that when your mind is free of all thoughts and you divert it inwards, you see white light. A bright white light is observed. Can we really do this? I feel that if you remember your childhood and your punishments that you got or the fights you got into, if suddenly unaware somebody gives a great impact like a slap and you say that you see stars, and does it really happen? At the moment you have a slap or a very big impact, all your thoughts are lost for a second and you know nothing else. except the stars you see in front of your eyes, or a bright patch of light that appears. Is that light that these people are talking of? And can that continue forever with a thoughtless mind? I don't know. We should be able to reach that stage sometime. And then let me come to the last step that is talked of. It is known as yatihi kshina dosha. When you live like a sage, a yati, whose all drawbacks have become weakened, you get closer to Brahma. And what are these drawbacks? Shadripu, the six drives and desires that we have: Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsar, Ahankar, lust, anger, avarice, overconfidence, recklessness, arrogance, jealousy, pride. If you overcome all this, when these are conquered, minimize as much as possible, you are one with what is outside and what is inside, in your behavior, in your thoughts, and in your actions. One who has lost the fear of death, then for him, this is the state that is achieved. For whom death doesn't matter. If you have achieved these 7 steps, if you have conquered yourself, it doesn't matter because you are aware that what is inside and what is outside, what is within you and what the nature outside is the same. Then you have achieved that or crossed that boundary that creates the fear of death. Live peacefully, meet it gracefully whenever it arrives. This then is the true Mrityu Rahasya. Yamacharya advised Nachiket and sent him back enlightened. In, as soon as the enlightenment was there, he didn't expect him to become a part of Brahma because that's not the objective. The objective is to return. If you are aware, pass on what you have. Enlighten. That's what great people like so many saints that we know of did. Right from Gautam Buddha to many others that we. This then is the Mrityu Rahasya. Overcoming the death fear through knowledge, through true knowledge, following the 7 steps that are mentioned in one of the Upanishads as a part of the teachings that must be followed by an individual to reach whatever level one can. I have spoken enough for today. Next time, we'll come back with some higher levels of thought associated with a number of dialogues as we go ahead. If you have liked whatever I have talked of, please pass on the knowledge to your friends. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Till we meet again next Saturday. Namaskar.